Chapter 11. Sharing our list with our parents sounded like a much better idea before we were actually standing in front of the three of them in my living room. They're staring up with curious expressions. Meanwhile, I might throw up. I look over at Nora, who doesn't seem nervous at all. She smiles and says, "Thank you for all being here." Then she looks at me. Right. This is my part. We brought you here so we can talk about the dog walking job that May offered me. Why didn't I get water first? My throat is so dry. I clear it and continue. I talked to Nora and she said she'll walk Ziggy with me if her dad says it's okay. My mom starts to talk, but Nora puts her hand up. "Please, before you say anything, we want to show you this." She nods at me, and I hold up our list so our parents can see it. These are the reasons why we should be allowed to walk Ziggy. Nora and I go back and forth, each reading a different argument from the list. I watch our parents' faces as we present each argument, but I can't tell what they're thinking. Finally, we get to the end. "So, what do you think?" I ask, bracing myself for the worst. Mom, Dad, and Felix look at each other, but don't say anything. Then Mom says, "Why don't you girls check on Malia and Izzy and let us talk for a minute?" Okay. I lead Nora back to my room, where our sisters are splayed out on the floor, surrounded by markers, stickers, and paper. They're hard at work making drawings and barely seem to notice that we've come in. "How do you think it went?" I asked. Nora shrugs. "I have no idea." I stand near my bedroom door to see if I can hear what our parents are saying, but they're talking too low. 10 minutes later, Dad comes back and tells us they're ready to share their decision. My heart pounds so loud, it's like the beating drums from Jumanji. "We thought about everything you said," Felix says. "First of all, we appreciate the time you took to write down all the reasons why you want to do this. It tells us how important this is to you." Oh my gosh, get to it, I want to scream. Mom must see the desperation in my face because she says, "We're going to let you walk Ziggy." "Really?" I ask. They, they said yes, Nora hugs me. "Thank you so much," I say, laughing. "We already talked to May and worked it out with her," Mom says. "You two can walk Ziggy once a day, Monday through Friday, and then twice a day on the weekends. She'll pay $40, so each of you will get $20 a week. But you have to stay on our street or within the park behind the building when you walk him. And you must keep your phones with you at all times." "We promise," I say. "You can start tomorrow," Mom says. This is the best news ever. Felix gets up from the couch. "We should probably get going so I can make dinner. Nora, tell Izzy it's time to go." When they're gone, I thank Mom and Dad again. "You won't regret this. I can even give you some money for stuff around the house." "Absolutely not," Mom says. "I know we don't have as much as we used to, but we're fine. Whatever money you make, you should use for yourself." "Are you sure?" I ask. "Yes," Mom says. "I insist." I can't stop smiling. I officially have my first job. After school the next day, Nora and I get off the bus, drop off our backpacks off in our apartments, and then meet outside of May's door. "Hi, girls," May says as she answers it. Ziggy is at her feet, wagging his tail, like he already knows he's getting a walk. It's probably because he got his harness and leash on. May hands us the leash and a tote bag. This has some plastic baggies to clean up after him. There are also some treats, and I threw in a couple water bottles. We thank May and tell her we'll be back soon. While we wait for the elevator, I say, "You know, I completely forgot about the picking up poop part." I laugh. "I remembered," Nora says. "But don't worry. With the bags May gave us, we won't actually have to touch the poop. I brought hand sanitizer anyway, though, to be safe." I hold Ziggy's leash as we head outside. I can tell he's happy to be able to actually walk down the street instead of just peeing on the patch of grass in front of the building. He wags his tail happily as we walk, and he starts leading the way, pulling on the leash in my hand. "Whoa, Ziggy!" I tighten my grip. "Guess you know exactly where you want to go, bud." Thankfully, Ziggy seems to be leading us straight to the park. A few times along the way, he stops to lift his leg and pee on bushes. "How's your screenplay going?" I asked Nora. "Good. I only have a few more scenes to write, but then I have to go back and fix a lot of stuff." It's so cool that you're writing your own movie. Thanks, I'm proud of it so far. We arrive at the park and Ziggy stops pulling his leash as much. That is, until he spots a squirrel, and then he starts jumping up and down and yelping, like he would love more than anything in the world to be free to chase it. No, Ziggy, let's pull him this way, I suggest to Nora. Want me to hold the leash for a while? She asks. Sure, I hand it to her. We start walking around the main path in the park. I've always wanted a dog, Nora says. My mom had one growing up. They're in a lot of her pictures. If she was still around, we'd probably have one by now. Would your dad give you one? The last time I asked, he said he didn't want the extra responsibility, but maybe if I walk dogs for a while, I can convince him that I can handle it. What kind of dog would you want? My mom had a corgi, so maybe one of those? What do corgis look like? Nora stops walking and gets out her phone. Ziggy pulls on the leash, clearly not ready to stop. One sec, Zig, Nora says as she types her phone and then holds it out to me. Oh my gosh, so cute, I say as I stare at the picture of the small dog with big ears and short legs. Right? Ziggy pulls at the leash again and whines. Okay, we're going, Nora says, and we start walking again. We only make it a little farther before Ziggy pauses by a bush. This is what you were whining for? I ask him. A bush? Ziggy sniffs it a whole lot, paws at the ground a bit, and turns around a few circles. Then he starts to poop. Oh. I don't want to stare at Ziggy while he's doing his thing, so I look at Nora. I guess Nora doesn't want to watch Ziggy either because she looks at me. We stare at each other for a second, both looking uncertain, and then we burst out laughing. I start tearing up from laughing so hard, and Nora covers her mouth. Meanwhile, Ziggy finishes doing his business and looks up at us, like he's both proud of what he's done and confused by how we're behaving. This only makes us laugh even more. So, who should pick up the first poop? I ask once we've calmed down. You want to do the honors? No, you should, Nora says, since, we wouldn't have this dog walking job if it wasn't for you. How about we rock, paper, scissors to decide? I suggest. Best 2 out of 3? Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot, we say at the same time. I throw rock, and Nora throws paper. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot, we say again. I throw scissors, and Nora throws paper again. So I win. All right, next loser gets the poop, Nora says. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot, we say. For the last time, I throw paper, and Nora throws scissors. Yes, she does a happy dance. Fine, I'll get the first one. I grab the poop bags out of May's tote bag. But we're switching off, so you get the next one. Fair. I pick it up as quickly as I can, and we find a trash can so I can throw it away. Good job, Nora says. She hands me her bottle of hand sanitizer, and I squirt the hugest blob into my palm. I smile, glad we're doing this together. Chapter 12. Ziggy runs right inside as soon as May opens her door. Thank you again for doing this, she says as I hand her back her tote bag. Ziggy returns with water dripping off his chin. He's panting a little, and with his tongue sticking out, it's like he's one of those smiling emojis. I can tell Ziggy had a good time, May adds. It was a lot of fun, I say. I leave May's with the biggest smile on my face. Our parents had no reason to doubt us, and now I'm one step closer to taking piano lessons again. That excitement disappears as soon as I open our apartment door. Nobody is in the living room, but from the entryway, I can hear Mom and Dad back in the room arguing. Their voices are clear, even with the bedroom door closed. I kick off my shoes and head into my room to check on Malia. She's lying across the bottom bunk. Hey, I say. Malia looks up from her tablet, which has a puzzle game open. They're yelling again, she says, her voice small. It's scaring me. I sit next to her on the bed. I can hear that, but don't worry, I say automatically. It'll be okay. I put my pinky out and she links hers. I wiggle our hands, which makes her smile. Do you want a snack? I ask. I can make us something. Malia sits up. Are there any peanut butter crackers? I'll check. I bring Malia into the living room and turn the TV on to drown out my parents. Back in our house, they never let Malia have this much screen time, but they also weren't too busy arguing to pay attention to her. I find Malia's favorite peanut butter crackers in a kitchen cabinet. I like them too, but there's no way I can eat anything right now. No matter what I say to Malia, I know we're far from okay. I should still be thinking about how great the first walk with Ziggy went, but instead I keep thinking about how much my parents are fighting and how different everything is now. I wish we were back in our real home where mom and dad got along. I miss our house, the feel of the wooden steps under my bare feet when I'd walk downstairs in the mornings, and the smooth railings under my fingertips. Like on Christmas morning, before Malia and I even got all the way down the stairs, we'd see our huge, beautiful tree and we'd decorate together. The presents were always nice, but being together with the fireplace going, Dad's favorite Motown Christmas album playing was the best part. I wish I'd known that last Christmas would be our last in that house. But maybe it's better that I didn't know. Will we even be able to fit a Christmas tree in this apartment? There's not a lot of space. Will mom and dad be able to stop fighting long enough for us to enjoy Christmas or any holiday together? I don't want to think about that. So I open the list on my phone of things I'll miss about my old house and read through the memories I want to remember. The beautiful light that streamed into our kitchen in the early evenings, which mom called magic hour. The window over the sink overlooking the backyard. Mom used to put a glass jar on its ledge with clippings from the hydrangea bush next to the garage. The quiet hum of the house, the bird sounds from outside when we opened the windows, the smell of fresh cut grass when dad mowed the lawn. More than anything, I miss the feeling of being home. I belong there. I'm not sure I'll ever belong here. I feel heartbroken. Will this heaviness in my chest ever go away? After dinner, I use Nora as an excuse again so I can go down to the hideout for a little while. I tell my parents that I need to ask Nora a homework question, and I carry a notebook with me to make it more believable. I ride the elevator downstairs and check to make sure nobody is in the hallway or the storage closet before I slip inside. When I get down to the hideout, the lights are already on. Oliver is sitting against the wall with a fabric mural. There's a sketchbook on his lap, and he's playing music on his phone. Hey, Oliver, I say. Hey, what are you up to? Drawing some stuff, he says. Like what? Oliver turns the sketchbook toward me. The page is full of doodles. There's a robot, a skull with a bow on its head, a kid kicking a soccer ball, an owl, and more. It looks like he sketched them out in pencil and is filling them in with black pen. Wow, those are really good. Thanks. I get in trouble at school sometimes because I can't stop doodling in the edges of my notebook and homework. Even quizzes sometimes. I can't help myself. He laughs. If your teachers don't appreciate your art, that's their problem, I say. I wish my parents felt that way. They hate all my doodling too, but I can come down here and draw and nobody cares. Did you draw any of the stuff that's on the walls? I ask. Some of it. You're really talented, I say. His cheeks turn red. Maybe you can teach me how to draw sometime, I say. I'm terrible. He grins. Sure. Then he looks at his phone. But I should head back upstairs now. I told my parents I went over to Miles's and it's been a while. Oh, okay. I wish he wasn't leaving so soon, even though I came down here to be alone. Oliver closes his sketchbook, turns the music off on his phone, and stands up. See ya. Bye. With Oliver gone and the music off, it suddenly feels eerie down here. This is my first time down here all by myself. Suddenly, I panic that I'm locked in, that Oliver forgot that I was still here when he left and locked the door from the outside. I run up the stairs to check, but the door still opens. Phew. I take my phone out of my pocket and turn on the movie score from Pirates of the Caribbean. At first, I walk around the room, waving my arms as if I'm carrying a baton, like a conductor I saw at the New York Philharmonic concert with my mom. After a while, my arms get tired, so I plop down on one of the beanbag chairs. I stare at the walls, at all of the drawings and doodles. I think about writing something of my own on the wall. But what? I keep thinking and staring, and then I notice something new. There are a few lines of writing in block letters right below the doodle of the apartment building that I noticed the other day. I'm certain it wasn't there before. It's even in a different color than the other doodles and text around it. It's pale blue with the other doodles around it that are mostly in black, with some red and purple. The writing is small, so I lean in closer to read it. I'm tired of smiling when actually I'm falling apart. I'm tired of hiding the pain that's inside my heart. Whoa, that is intense. I read it again. Whoever wrote this sounds like they're hurting a lot. And the thing is, I can relate. Who could have written this? Only a handful of people in this building know about the hideout. Nora, plus the other kids I met at the bus stop. And maybe there are more kids that I haven't met yet. Oliver was just down here. What if it was him? But he was sitting on the other side of the room, and he was using a black marker in his sketchbook. Am I sure that the poem wasn't here last time? Maybe it's an old message, and this person doesn't even live here anymore. But deep down, I know it's new. I'm pretty sure I would have noticed it and read it last time I was here. That space was definitely blank before. That means whoever wrote it lives in this building and is feeling this way right now. I go to the bin of markers on the bookshelf and grab a green one. Under the poem, I write, I know exactly how you feel. You are not alone. Can I help? Joy. I have no idea if whoever wrote this message will see my response, but I hope they will. It makes me feel a little better about my own problems to think my note might make someone hurt a little less. Maybe we can help each other. My parents are going to wonder where I am, so I turn off the lights and head back upstairs, feeling slightly less alone. There's someone else in this building dealing with something hard. It's not just me.